Sunday, everybody. Good to see you right here on Health Diary. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and today on the show, we're focusing on preterm babies. And according to the World Health Organization, approximately 15 million babies are born preterm each year, and this is across the globe. So, are there cases of the things that we can do to prevent preterm? Or what can we do to support preterm babies to grow and thrive? Well, let's find out after this fact of the matter.
The WHO defines a preterm baby as one who is born alive before 37 completed weeks of gestation. Complications of preterm birth are the leading cause of death in children under 5 worldwide. Many deaths among preterm babies are preventable with cost-effective interventions. Roughly 3/4 of preterm-related deaths could be avoided with proper care. For babies who survive preterm birth, increases the risk of long-term health problems and developmental difficulties, including learning disabilities, vision and hearing problems, and chronic diseases in adulthood.
Well, the world recently celebrated World Prematurity Day, and that is on 17th November. So today we want to talk about preterm babies. What are some of the instances that might, push a baby to be born preterm, and what can be done to help them to survive and thrive as they hit the different developmental milestones. And to help us with our conversation, I am joined by Faith Njeru, who is a nursing officer in charge, the newborn unit right here at Pumwani Maternity Hospital. Faith, thank you so much for making the time. And we also have Rofin Wekesa, who is a mom to a child who was born preterm, but she is here to also share that journey with us. So Rofin, thank you so much for making the time. So Faith, can we start with you? When we talk about preterm or, prematurely, how early is considered preterm?
Thank you. So premature babies are considered as preterm if they are born before 37 completed week of gestation. Okay. That is from the last menstrual period when the mother had. So if a baby is born before the 37 completed weeks of gestation, then that baby is considered to be born as a preterm baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what are the leading causes for preterm babies?
There are several causes that may make a mother to deliver her baby before time or too soon. Mm-hmm. And one of the causes are medical conditions. A mother who has high blood pressure or preeclampsia during pregnancy, diabetes mellitus. Mm-hmm. And other causes are related to the age. If a mother is pregnant very young, the adolescents. Then we also have issues around the placenta insufficiency. So if the mother has something we call a placenta previa, that is the placenta that is placed at the wrong place in the uterus, then those mothers may end up also delivering their babies as preterm.
Okay. And Rofin, for you, based on what Faith has talked about, is there anything that sounds familiar for your case? Because your baby was born 29 weeks,
yes.
At 29 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for me, I had subchronic hemorrhage. Okay. Yeah, from week 7 to week 17. Mm-hmm. That is bleeding during pregnancy. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So you were taken to the hospital,
I started bleeding at week 7, mm-hmm. and then I was given medicine to control the bleeding. Mm-hmm. So when you reached week 17, the bleeding stopped.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I thought everything was okay, mm-hmm. until week 29 when baby came. The nurses there tried to control the birth of the baby because the baby was premature. Mm. So they tried to control labor. Okay. Yeah, so we controlled labor for I think 2 days, and then the baby just decided to come. Mm. Yeah.
Okay, they said no, it's time.
I'm not going to stay.
Okay. In Faith, is it a common occurrence, especially when we're talking about bleeding during pregnancy? Is this what you see most of the time that might, lead a baby to be born preterm?
Yeah. Actually, what she's talking about is something we call the antepartum hemorrhage, the APH. Mm-hmm. And when this happens, it means that the placenta is already detached from the uterus. And therefore, the mother starts bleeding, and then the next thing is the baby. Okay, have to be born.
Okay.
And once this baby is then are born as preterm, then they have to find themselves to the NICU or to the neonatal unit, because these are the babies that are going to be taken care of at to help them breathe. Because once they are born, when they are preterm, they have all the issues surrounding their system. So they'll have respiratory issues. They'll have problem also with feeding, even thermoregulation on controlling of their temperatures. And that is why you'll also find those babies, we usually nurse them in the incubator rooms. Yeah.
Okay. And again, Ruffin, for you, so got to the hospital. They tried to control the labor. Do you mean like they tried to sort of like delay it, do all the things they can to just delay the labor until the baby hits a certain milestone?
Yes, they were trying to delay the labor because the doctor knew that when the baby comes early, he will have to go to the NICU. So he was trying to avoid the baby going to the machines. Yes.
Okay. But the baby decided no. And come. It was Sayu.
Yes.
That I put them to cover. Okay. So the baby is born, taken to the NICU. Do you want to just tell us what that experience was like? Was it like your first baby? Have you had experiences with previous pregnancies before?
No, my first baby was born at 37 weeks. Yeah. The second baby came at 29 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was something new to me. Yeah. In fact, when the baby was born, I never knew where he was taken. I just went to the ward and I stayed there at around 10 p.m. So that's when I asked the nurses, "Where's my baby?" So they took me to where the baby was in NICU. Yeah. And then I just saw my baby with full of machines.
What are some of these complications that the baby developed?
Like when he was admitted, he was on low flow of oxygen. Okay. But then on day 2, I think he was not able to breathe well. So they had to use, what is it called? The CPAP. So the one that pumps pressure and oxygen at the same time. Okay. And then, after that, he had sepsis. Yeah, he had jaundice. Yeah, name them.
Yeah. Okay. Faith, again, is this a common occurrence, or are there instances where a baby might go to the NICU, come out with absolutely, no complication?
Okay, thank you. So, babies just being born as premature baby is already predisposing them to go to the NICU. Yeah. So that is one of the condition of number of babies who are admitted to the newborn unit. Okay. However, the premature babies accounts for the highest number of babies admitted across our country in the newborn unit, and as well they also account to the largest number of neonatal deaths also that occurs within the country. And therefore, those are the babies that really need to be taken care of carefully and keenly, putting into consideration that they were born too soon, and therefore even their immunity is compromised. Their respiration, how they are breathing is also compromised. And therefore, that is why those babies needs a lot of effort pulled together just to help them survive. Because once they are also born as preterm babies, their lungs are not mature well, and your surfactant has not yet been produced. And that is why those babies either they will be on oxygen, and if they're at a lower gestation, that is 32 weeks and lesser, they benefit more from the CPAP. The CPAP is the continuous positive airway pressure that exert pressure direct to the baby's lungs just to prevent them from collapsing so that they are able to continuously be able to breathe. Yeah, then the other thing is of keen when those preterm babies are being taken care of is their thermoregulation. Because also their thermoregulation sentence is not well developed. They have a thin skin, the fat layer is yet to develop, and therefore those babies usually get cold. And to avoid that complication of hypothermia, then those babies, we nurse them into the incubators. And once they get stable, then the mothers are able to do something we call kangaroo mother care. So that is just to help them control the temperatures. Yeah.
Okay. Any other complication that sometimes might arise when a baby is in the NICU?
Yes, there are so many complications that these preterm babies can be born with. So one is respiratory distress syndrome that we take care of with the use of the CPAP. Then there is jaundice. So there's also jaundice that can develop. Then also we have apnea of prematurity. Apnea of prematurity is where the baby ceases to breathe, forgets to breathe. They can take 20 seconds before they are able to forget to breathe. So we call it apnea of prematurity. Then another complication that is very common with them is anemia of prematurity. So those babies, most of the time their HbA goes down, and then we have to transfuse them, and so that we're able to raise their blood levels. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that. So Seraphine, how long was your baby in the NICU before being transferred to the general ward?
Baby was in the NICU for 15 days, and then he was transferred to the nursery for around 10 days. And then we stayed in the general ward for 4 days.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But Faith, normally how long would you say? Because I know it's different from baby to baby, right? Yeah. But generally, how long does a baby stay in the NICU before being transferred into a nursery?
It depends with how fast the baby is responding to the treatment, the gestation at what they were born, because it also depending with the gestation or at what they were born, it also transit to how severe the respiratory distress was. So however, you'll find most of them ending up in the NICUs between 1 to 2 weeks. Then they transition to the newborn unit, where they're able now to be held there for feeding and for the weight gain. That can take between 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. So Faith, we talked about how long a baby, ideally would be in the NICU, and also some of the health complications that might arise. But can we also talk about some of the developmental complications that might arise for a baby in the NICU?
Okay, thank you. So as we are transferring the babies from the NICUs, from those CPAP and the ventilation to a lower level unit, that is the neonatal unit, most of those babies as well, as they are moving from the NICU to the neonatal unit, they end up also going with oxygen, but at a lower level of oxygen that is being saturated. And therefore, also babies who are preterm babies and they are on oxygen for a prolonged period of time, they end up also getting other complications like ROP, retinopathy of prematurity. So they also have issues with their eyes, and which is usually done as a routine screening for those babies from 3 weeks from the date of their deliveries. And other complication that may arise is delayed milestones. I remember this baby was born too soon, was very sick, was in NICU for a long period of time. So those also babies end up getting delayed milestones. So these are some of the things that we also have to talk to the mothers as they're going home, as we also are stepping them down to other units so that they are aware that their babies may not develop like other babies. However, they will catch up.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't mean they will never achieve those milestones. Good point. And referring for you, so what was the sort of like transfer like after the NICU? What was that like? What are some of the things that you noticed as far as your baby is concerned?
From the NICU to the NBU, so the baby couldn't suckle well, so they had to train him how to suckle.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other thing that you noticed?
The baby was very tiny.
What are some of the challenges that you experienced as a mother trying to ensure that your child gets, all he needs at this point to support him to grow and thrive?
So some of the challenges that I experienced was, sometimes this premature baby, so they're really tiny. That means their intestines are also growing. So you have to take care. On the measurement or the feeding that you are giving them. So if you end up overfeeding them, they'll start vomiting.
I know we talked about, in the NICU, some of the things that they might experience, but even after, during the transitions, what are some of the common challenges that are experienced for both the baby and the mother?
Yeah. So I think I'll also build up on what she's talking about because of the breastfeeding, putting into consideration that babies, when they develop the sucking reflex from that to 7 weeks of gestation and above. So if these babies are born as preterm babies, then most of them may not be able to suck. So they may not be able to breastfeed. So those babies are started some via feeding via the tubes. Then they transition again when they get to the 1.6 kgs, they transition to feeding via cup. And this is what teaching them. You have to teach them on how even to feed using the cup. Then the next thing, when they are graduating from 1.7, as you want them to go home, we also want to teach them to breastfeed. So this is a teaching that even a mother has to be sat down and given a health education on how she's supposed to do it, and also being, persistent on doing it. Because, those mothers, when they'll have their babies in NICU, there's a lot of things that is happening to them psychologically. They've probably never had a preterm baby. And the care of this preterm baby is completely different from probably what they were doing for the other babies.
Rofin, did you experience any of this in terms of like delayed milestones, the reflexes that Faith is talking about that probably the baby had to be taught how?
Yes, so the baby couldn't suckle well, so they had to train him with a finger on how to suckle.
Okay.
Yes.
And even after, like, when you were discharged, went home, are there things that probably you noticed?
So before we were discharged from hospital, I have this friend of mine who is a pediatrician, my first one. So she just told me to do more of breastfeeding do more of cup feeding than breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you breastfeed a preterm baby, they use a lot of energy to suckle. And when they use a lot of energy to suckle, that means they're going to lose weight.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So I did more of cup feeding than breastfeeding.
How much of a challenge was that for you to ensure that you do not overfeed, you do not underfeed?
Before we were discharged from hospital, we were given the timing on how to feed the baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So normally they say you wake up baby after every 3 hours during the first few months, probably few weeks. But was it different than for you?
No, it was not different.
Also after every 3 hours?
It's 3 hours.
Okay. Yes, you would feed them. Okay. Feed probably, do you want to just point up the whole, cup feeding? And because I want to imagine this is very small.
So the cup, I thought it's very easy to cup feed the baby than breastfeed him.
Okay.
Because at some point, when I was forcing him to breastfeed, he would stop suckling and just looks at home. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think he was tired.
Yeah.
So that's why I prefer to cup feed him than breastfeed.
Okay. Yes. Is there also a risk of, say, like choking and whatnot when you're trying to help this baby to breastfeed? Is that one of the risks?
Yeah. That is why they have to transition. If a baby was too small, less than 1.6 kgs, those are the babies that we feed them via the nasogastric tube. So we insert a nasogastric tube or orogastric tube and we feed them. We preempt by the time this baby is getting to the 1.6 kg, this baby, the swallowing reflex is already developing. So we start training them on how to feed via the cup. And it's a whole process on how to teach a baby to feed the cup, because there is a way you're supposed to position the baby while you're feeding, on how you're supposed to position even that cup into the baby's mouth. And you're not just letting the baby to suck the milk from the cup, but not even just dropping the milk into the baby's mouth. So it's a whole process and a technique on how to do it. Then when the babies get to the 1.7 kgs, then now we start training them on how to suckle, because we expect this baby, by the time they are 1.8 kg, we are discharging them to the community. Once they go to the community, the baby has to continuously breastfeed as the mother is topping up using the cup. Those babies, their muscles are not well developed, so they easily tire when they breastfeed. So a mother may put her baby on the breast while she's breastfeeding, and then the baby just stops breastfeeding. So she may think that the baby is full. However, the baby is not full. It's only that the baby got tired. Yeah, so that is why we advise them, as even we are transitioning them, to go home, because like for our facility, the discharge weight is 1.8 kgs. They are going home while they are breastfeeding, but they also have to top up. And then these are the babies who also want to do a close follow-up on them, and therefore they are usually seen on weekly basis. So to monitor their weight, to monitor on their breastfeeding, if they are catching up on the breastfeeding, and also to check are there any complications that are arising.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Adi also talked about how emotionally, and psychologically draining this can be for the parent. So can we talk about then the role of support, and what kind of support do parents or mothers, especially to preterm babies, really require during this period of life?
Okay. So the first tier of support that this mother requires is from the family. Yeah, so we encourage their next of kin and their family to continuously also visit them into the facility, so that they are also able, to stay with the mothers, to encourage them. And if they are in a facility where they encourages the Kangaroo mother care to be done by the next of kin, the surrogate, the dad to the baby, then they are able to relieve the mother from that care, and they're also able to take care of the baby. Then the supplies, those babies requires a lot of things to be used, the diaper, even the mother needs to feed well. So all that is part of the psychological support that we are talking about. Then the other thing is the support system from the healthcare workers, from the nurses, from the doctors, and also the counselors who are also in the hospital. They're also able to sit the mothers one-on-one and talk to them. And the other support that really works is incorporating and encouraging the family-centered care. Family-centered care is where we are supporting the mother and teaching the mother to take care of her baby. So she walks the journey with the baby. So if it is feeding, we teach her on how to feed her baby. If it is to do the Kangaroo mother care, then we also teach her on how to care for the baby, changing of the baby. Then she feels engaged when it comes to care of her baby. And also she feels that she's also being engaged in decision making on what is happening to her baby and the care. Yeah.
So Rafin, 3 years in, how is your baby, and what is it that you'd like to tell the mothers who are watching us today as far as just this journey is concerned, and especially with preterm babies?
I would like to tell all mothers, let's say all parents that have premature babies, they should always make a follow-up with their doctors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is it.
Okay. Follow-up. And how is your baby? How is he doing now?
My baby is okay, though. Well, we always struggle with flu. I think it's because our doctor told us that it's because those premature babies, during their first days in their lives, they always put those machines in their lungs. So it's just because of those machines, and at the end of it, they'll just outgrow it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Faith, is that the case?
Yeah, as we earlier mentioned, those babies, once they are born early, so they have issues with their immunity, their immunity system. And that is why actually those babies also usually discharge them on even supplement, because they'll also have issues with their bones and the like. And that is why we said it's a journey that those mothers walk just to make sure that their babies thrive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then to help in terms of improving the survival rates, for preterm babies, what is it that probably you would recommend? Because in your day-to-day, you experience this, you see these children, almost all the time. So what is it that you'd like to see change to at least improve on the survival rates? And I'll take that as your parting shot.
Thank you. So for the preterm babies, I think we will start all the way from the conception and the antenatal care. Because if these mothers start their clinic early enough, and some of these complications are noticed early enough, then we are able to manage those complications and evade those babies being born as preterm babies. So I think the best practice is the mother starting their antenatal clinics early. Actually, we usually say before conception. Immediately the mother thinks about her conceiving a baby, she just starts her clinic early, then continuous follow-up of the antenatal clinic and visit. So that in case the mother has any complication, then this is taken care of early.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see that. Thank you so much, Faith. Faith Njeri is the nursing officer in charge of the newborn unit right here at Pumwani Maternity Hospital, as well as Rufin Wekesa, just giving us all the insights we need to have. Well, time now for you to take a look at this health tip.
On today's health tip, besides incubator care, we have a low cost, high impact intervention, which is Kangaroo Mother Care. Kangaroo Mother Care is an intervention where the mother puts her baby skin to skin. This is to help her baby thrive. There are several benefits that are besides this. So the baby is able to gain weight. Our mother is also able to bond with our baby and also helps to increase the milk supply for the mother.
Well, that marks the end of our show today right here on Health Diary. As far as preterm births or preterm babies are concerned, and the World Health Organization recommends that preventing deaths and complications from preterm births starts with a healthy pregnancy. So let's support our mothers, let's support our women as far as pregnancy is concerned to prevent cases of either preterm birth or complications and even death from the same. But hey, if you have any other question, our social media handles are down at the bottom of your screens. For now, I'll ask to say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Special thanks to Pumwani Maternity Hospital for hosting us today. Until next Sunday, take care.